The Google Pixel Fold has been on the market for 8 months now. Normally, this would mean that we're only 4 months away from the next generation, as phone manufacturers like to pump out a new model every year on the dot. But this time it's a little bit different. According to the leaks and rumors, again, these are leaks and rumors, the Pixel Fold 2 is going to come out later, not June of this year, but October of this year. So we're not 4 months away from a new phone, we're actually 6 months away. Since we've got a little more time, I kind of wanted to visit the idea of waiting and wonder, should you wait? Now, in most cases, I do think yes. Waiting for the next generation phone, especially when it's in the same calendar year, is usually the right move. But with all of the leaks and rumors out there, I want to go over some of the more common ones and talk about reasons why you should, and also maybe reasons why you shouldn't wait on the Google Pixel Fold 2. Now, when I bring up the delayed release of the next generation Pixel Fold, that's not just because it's important because of how long you're going to wait. No, the real reason I bring this up is because if we're going to be getting the next generation Pixel Fold at the same time we're getting the 9 and the 9 Pro, then that means the Pixel Fold 2 should be releasing with the Tensor G4, not the Tensor G3. You see, last year in 2023, the Pixel Fold's first generation had to go with the older chip, the G2. Despite the fact that we were only a few months away from getting the Tensor G3, Google wanted to release it first. I think they didn't want it to compete too much with their flagship phone, so that's why they released it first. But as a consequence of that, we had to deal with a worse chip. Now, this means that the jump from the Fold 1 to the Fold 2, it shouldn't feel like a normal first to second generation jump. It almost might feel more like the third generation phone because it's going up not just one generation of chips, but it's going to be going from the 2 to the 4. Hopefully, this translates to a much smoother experience. Now, personally, I haven't had a whole lot of trouble with the Tensor G2. I personally don't care that much about it because I've had an awesome experience. But again, if we were going to be paying $1,800 for a phone, there is absolutely no reason why it should not come with the latest and greatest chip. So that is a very good reason why you might want to wait until October of this year so we can actually get it, or at the very least wait a little bit longer for Google to officially announce what it's going to be releasing with, just so you know what exactly you would be getting yourself into with the next generation, or what you would be giving up if you decided to not wait and get the first generation now. Another big rumored difference between the Pixel Fold's first generation and the second generation is how much RAM we're going to be working with here. Now, when it comes to multitasking, RAM actually is very important. In fact, it's because the Pixel Fold had 12 gigabytes of RAM and the Pixel 7a only had 8. That's why this felt like such a better device than the Pixel 7a. And of course, there were a lot of other reasons, but RAM really helps out. Now, what we don't know when it comes to this rumor of the 16 gigabytes of RAM is what price point this is going to be at. Now, I would like to believe that we're going to be able to get 16 gigabytes of RAM on the 256 gigabyte capacity. That is the version of the Pixel Fold that I currently have. But realistically, I don't think that 16 gigabytes of RAM is going to be available at this price point. I think what Google is going to do is they're going to release a 12 gigabyte RAM model for the 256. And if you spend the extra money to buy the 512, then it will be actually 16 gigabytes of RAM. Of course, again, these are leaks, these are rumors. We don't know how true they are, and everything is subject to change. But that is just kind of what I'm guessing based on what a lot of other phone manufacturers are going to do. So if you really want to get the 16 gigabytes of RAM, you have to ask yourself, if you wait for the Pixel Fold 2, are you actually going to pony up the extra money and get the 16 gigabytes of RAM? Personally, that's what I would want to do, but if you're someone and you're like, nope, I'm going to get the base model and that's going to be good enough, then there may not be a whole lot of difference between the two, especially at this price point. But again, these are rumors. In fact, we don't even know if they're going to release it for $17.99. I would hope so. I mean, best case scenario would actually be cheaper considering OnePlus Open was able to release it for less than what Google is charging, but you really don't know. I hope at the very least the price stays the same. I hope that we get 16 gigabytes of RAM because that would be a huge reason to wait until the Pixel Fold 2 releases, or at least until it's officially announced. But again, we just don't know. I'm going to say that 16 gigabytes of RAM is a good reason to wait, but I do want to be clear that we don't know if that's going to be on all models or just the more expensive version. I have also heard that we're going to be getting a terabyte model version of this, but I don't know how many people are actually going to use the 1 terabyte model. I know it's nice to have it and it's nice to say it, but where I work in my retail carrier store, I've had a lot of guys come in and make a big stink out. Oh, I want the 1 terabyte iPhone. And they really want to have it. They got to have it. Then when I look into their phone and I see how much storage they're using like 80 gigabytes. And the version of the iPhone that they have is only 128 or 256. So is the 1 terabyte really that big of a deal? I don't think so, but 16 gigabytes of RAM absolutely is. Now, don't get me wrong, a 1 terabyte model of any phone is a great option to have. All I mean is that for the majority of people, 1 terabyte of space isn't really needed unless you're doing a lot of heavy video editing. But even in my case, where I have been getting into, making shorts and making videos, I still don't think that I'm personally going to need 1 terabyte. But hey, maybe that's just a skill issue. I just don't think for the vast majority of people, that's really a good reason to wait. Now, one of the biggest rumored changes to the Google Pixel Fold isn't just what chip it has or how much RAM it has, it's the actual shape and size of the device. Now, I got my leaks from Android Police. They've got a great website and they've got a really good post that has a lot of the different leaks and rumors about it. One thing is that this newer phone is supposed to be a little more square shaped and it's also supposed to be quite a bit taller than this current phone. Now, if this phone is too tall, one thing that I might not like about it is how usable the cover screen is. This cover screen is almost perfect in my opinion. My thumb can go just about anywhere it needs to go. Even when I don't have my accessories on that make this phone easy to hold, I can very easily handle this. Now, some people I've heard out there who have much bigger hands, they prefer the taller phones. Personally, I don't. I like phones just about this size. If this new phone is supposed to have a 6.4-inch cover display versus a 5.8-inch, that could be a huge bummer for me. Now, I won't be too bummed about this for too long. I'm sure, if I get my hands on the new one, I'd probably slap some accessories on it or do something to make it easier to handle with one hand, regardless of how big it is. But that is something that I didn't want to see change, especially so soon. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is going to be the camera. Now, I'm sure some of you have seen the leaked images. If not, I'm going to go ahead and show them on screen again. But this new camera bump looks quite a bit different. It doesn't have the same traditional camera bar that we've been seeing for the last couple of generations of Pixel. It almost has more of like a camera aisle or a camera square, which kind of leads people to believe that there's going to be some changes and some upgrades in the camera, which is all great. I mean, I hope that every single year we get some upgrade in some way over a camera just to make it worth actually having the newer camera. But there is one thing that I'm almost positive, 99.9% certain, that the Pixel Fold 2 is not going to have that the Fold 1 does have, and that is Photosphere. I don't know why they got rid of Photosphere. I'm sure I could find a reason why. I mean, come on, let's be honest. The reason why is because no one likes Photosphere. No one uses Photosphere outside of me. Even when I ask my girlfriend when we go to Florence or something, hey, stop, I want to take a photo, I can see her roll her eyes. But Photosphere is awesome, and I really do like it. I like being able to take 360-degree photos with my phone just by turning it around and having it stitch together all the photos. And that's a feature that I don't think we're going to see again. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know where Photosphere is. I think the new Google Pixel Fold 2 is just going to have Action Pan, which is a lot like cinematic mode. That's what the 8 Pro has. And all around, the 8 Pro has a great camera. I don't think the Pixel Fold 2 is going to have as good of a camera as the 9 Pro. That's just kind of how foldable phones go. They don't typically have the best camera. They're usually, second to best or right under the best camera. But whatever upgrades it makes are fine and welcome, because really at the end of the day, the thing I'm going to miss the most is Photosphere. That is actually a reason I think it's kind of worth buying the old Pixel Fold. I mean, being able to open this thing up and see the photos in 360 degrees, being able to rotate around and see the photo, that's awesome. That's really cool. I hope we get another Photosphere in the future, some version of it, but that is something that if you do want to play around with, you're gonna have to get something that came out before the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro. The last phones to be released that had Photosphere were the Pixel 7s, the 7, the 7 Pro, the 7a, and the Pixel Fold. Now, earlier I kind of mentioned that, probably, you should wait for the Pixel Fold 2. Just because in most cases, when you're looking at any smartphone and you ask, hey, if I wait, is a better version going to come out? The answer is pretty much always going to be yes. In fact, when I was first looking at getting a folding phone, one of my coworkers kind of made fun of the idea. He said that they were really crappy right now, wait a little while, and they're going to get better. To which I thought, yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's again, every single time you wait, things get better. And there are times where you don't wait and maybe you feel a little buyer's remorse. I'll tell you a little story. A couple of years back, I went and I needed to get a new car. And I really needed a new car. It was for work. It had to be fuel efficient. So I thought, hey, it's going to have to be a hybrid. And I ended up getting a Toyota Prius. It was a 2019. It was beautiful. It had a lot of great options on it: sunroof, leather seats, heated steering wheel. It was a very comfortable car to drive. Well, just a few months later, I then saw the released concept images for the new Prius, and the new Prius looked really, really cool. I mean, if you guys look up right now the 23 and the 24 Prius, it is a lot better looking than the old Priuses. And for a couple of days, I felt dumb. But you know, I shouldn't have felt dumb, and the reason I shouldn't have felt dumb is because I needed a car right then and there. I couldn't wait half a year for the new car to come out. I needed to get a car. And no matter what you buy, if you wait 6 months to get the Pixel Fold 2, guess what's going to happen in a year? There's going to be a new version, something new is going to be on it, something better is going to be on it, and you're going to be thinking, man, I wish I had that, and I wish I had waited. If you're looking at a Pixel Fold today and you're on the Google website, they're listing right now for about $1299 for the 256 model. They're also offering up to $900 in trade-in. Now, I don't know if that's stackable, but what I will say is that if you can get a Google Pixel Fold First Gen for $900 after a trade-in, buy it. You should get it. That's a good deal in my book. $900 for a foldable, that's a great deal. It doesn't have to be through Google, mind you. It could be anywhere else. If you can pick up a first generation Pixel Fold somewhere in that $1,000 realm and you're not having to pay on it for an extended period of time, or for a period of time that makes you feel like you're taking on too big of a risk for a depreciating asset, then yeah, buy it, because you're going to like it. And in a few years, there's going to be a new model and you're going to feel dumb because that's what the companies want you to feel. So, you know, should you wait? Yeah, you should wait. But if you need a phone today and you really want to try a folding phone and you can get one for a good deal, then don't wait. Just do it. Pull the trigger, go get it. You're going to enjoy it. I have really enjoyed mine. And yeah, I think that you're going to enjoy it too. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If there's anything that you want to add to this, or maybe something that you thought I should have added to it. I really have been enjoying your guys' responses, all the feedback I'm getting. It's been really cool to see as many people actually come up and give me their opinions. I kind of thought for a long time it would just be me and maybe like one guy who was willing to take the time. But thank you guys. Have a wonderful night.